Since I moved back to Southern Ontario from British Columbia, I've felt lost. The kinds of adventures that I used to have on the West Coast just don't seem to exist here. 1 year ago, I set out to prove that I could be as great as the adventurers I admire, here, where I live. But I failed. I quickly found myself beyond my limits, having missed the narrow window of spring snowmelt that makes it possible to navigate the entire Grand River. So, I abandoned my attempt. I need to prove that epic adventure exists here, if for no one other than myself. So I'm going to finish what I started.
See, a lot of adventurers, they would get ultralight, not pack very much. Not me, baby. All right. Bye, Liz.
The Grand River is the longest river in Southern Ontario. It runs nearly 300 kilometers, from Dundalk to Port Maitland, where it empties into Lake Erie.
It's a big river, like, I'm not a professional kayaker. I'm just keen. I just want to get out there and find places that are new and that you can have an adventure. Something that is right here, there's a sign at every bridge that you pass, this Grand River. And we look at it and we're like, oh yeah, there it is. There's that landmark we just passed. There's that river on the map. But it's accessible, which is cool. And it's so close to so many people. Yeah, I guess I hope this journey celebrates it a bit.
My yellow kayak was a gift from my mom for my 17th birthday. It's a River Runner R5, a whitewater kayak from the 90s. There are no compartments, just a hollow interior where I shoved all of my things.
Oh, we're getting out of the boat.
It's definitely not fancy, but it's tough and fast, with a precarious center of gravity. The perfect companion for questionable navigation. The plastic skeg at the stern is the only thing that keeps me in a straight line, but it has a mind of its own. The Grand River has 12 dams and countless low shoals between the source and the mouth.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a Herculean feat here.
The thing about a dammed river is that there are a lot of portages.
You silly kayak.
My first real test is tomorrow, when I face the whitewater of the Elora Gorge.
So I invited a friend down. Well, not a friend yet. We're about to become friends, I hope. This is someone from a local whitewater paddling group, and I'm hoping that she is going to teach me and guide me on how to do the rest of the gorge, which is all whitewater rapids, starting with the biggest one on the river here. I'm definitely a little nervous, so yeah, she should be coming any second, I hope. You look way more badass than me.
I don't paddle flat water. That's all I do.
What's up, Laura? I'm Tom. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So when you're coming in, see that green tongue right up there? It's the only part that's not white. Like there's 2 chunks of white on the side of it, and then there's
the part that's not white.
Yeah.
I'm glad we clarified this.
Yes, that's the fastest water. That's
I see exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And then what do I do if I flip?
If you flip, if you're in this area when you flip, I would stay really tucked to your boat, count to 3 or count to 5, and then you can pull out. If you're down in this area down here, you can pull out right away. There's just a rock somewhere in here that you don't want to be all spread out for. You're taller than me, so it just might meet your head. I'll go gear up.
Well, that doesn't sound scary. You made that look super easy.
So when in doubt, just paddle.
Just paddle. When in doubt, just paddle. All right, let's go do it.
She made it look easy, but that usually means it's hard. She's just good. I am very unprepared. Definitely nervous.
Surviving the gorge, I had this thought that I might actually be able to make it to the end. The long days paddling had me looking at my home from an entirely new perspective. The bridges and buildings were starting to become a backdrop as I felt secluded on the river.
I found an island. A lot of goose nests. I'm gonna move on.
You know, I set off to try and make an epic adventure in my backyard and do it in a way that was right for me. It started out as kind of like, can I make it to the end? Can I find some actual adventure around here? Can I add that spark to my day-to-day? At the halfway mark, you start thinking, oh, the adventure's going by too quickly. I don't want it to end. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be taking my time a bit, I think.
Jamie Kent is a passionate river guide, so I asked him if I could join his team to paddle the oxbow and learn from his experience on the river.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. Good for doing this. Thanks for bringing us along today.
So this is a beautiful day to be on the river, eh? We're really blessed for this weather and flow rates, eh? So we're going to go down along the river around the oxbow. And the oxbow is basically a big loop in the river where it almost comes back upon itself, right? And we're going to be going in a 12-person Voyager canoe. They used to use these as fur trading canoes as well as for exploration. Awesome. What a nice morning. Just started out when I was like 28. I was the youngest senior executive on that company for about 15 years. So I was young doing that, and I liked it. It was exciting, but it wasn't really my passion. And I did that for 10 years. And if you do something that's not your passion for 10 years, you get a lot older than 10 years in 10 years. So my wife told me one day, you should do something that's going to make you really happy. And so she suggested, her and my daughter suggested we do this. And I jumped at the chance. And it makes life pretty fulfilling. The river is lower than it was historically. It was a very heavily forested area, right? So in the spring, when all the snow and ice would melt and you get the spring rains, the forest would collect all that water and hold it in the forest and save it, and then it would slowly filter into the river over the whole summer. Nowadays, when all that forest has been gone, it's all converted to farmland and cities, the water has no place to go but it runs straight into the river in the spring. So when we get really high water and spring runoff, this area all floods. It becomes a great big floodplain, and it really saves the lower part of the river from being flooded out. You see how important it is and how, at the same time, kind of fragile, right? You can't get this in very few places in developed areas, and we have it as a great gift. It would be a shame to see it get lost.
Jamie, thanks so much. That was tons of fun.
Okay.
I'm gonna get on the river.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
That night, I was invited to stay at Chiefswood Park on Six Nations Reserve, where I was promised the best sleep of my trip to recharge before the longest paddle day down to Dunnville.
Perfect.
I met up with my friend Ellie of the Mohawk Nation, Turtle Clan, and resident of the Six Nations Reserve to help me understand why the Grand River is such a special place to her.
Paddling, it's accessible to most people. And the Grand River, I mean, there's so many communities along the way that you're bound to run into people. Hey, I know people from Guelph now because I paddle. I know people from Cambridge. I know people from Cayuga, you know. And that's what the river is doing. It's reconnecting people in this heritage river, which is, you know, it's for all of us, you know, because it's a place to admire the water, the wildlife, like amazing wildlife. People don't know what they know unless they paddle on that water. I think the only way they'll really want to protect is to be able to paddle on it and to experience the kind of things that you experienced. To wake up and watch the sunrise. You know, to see lily pads floating on the surface. I think people need to see that. I think they need to be right up close and personal to see those things and appreciate them. And hopefully that'll inspire people to take care of it better than they do. But I want to see and I want to hear about when you finally reach the end. I do want to know just how you feel and what's on your mind when you reach the mouth.
Flow is non-existent, feels like. It's just wind.
I realized that Ellie was right. I met passionate people and experienced things I never would have if I didn't paddle the length of the Grand River. Maybe this adventure didn't need to be epic to mean something. The river and these people suddenly meant more to me than the tallest peaks I had climbed. I felt at home.
All right, man. Let's go home.